The man who became famous for saying "you're fired" is facing what could be the most serious and consequential personnel decision of his life tonight. Both supporters and detractors of President Trump are now openly talking about what might happen if the president decides to pull the plug on the investigation being conducted by special counsel Robert Mueller. The talk on Capitol Hill comes as the president lashes out about a Monday raid directed at his longtime personal attorney. All of this, of course, as the president of the United States also prepares to decide about possible U.S. military action against Syria for chemical attacks there. Another busy news night here on Special Report. We begin again on the North Lawn with Chief White House Correspondent John Roberts. Good evening, John.
Brett, good evening to you. The raid on the president's personal attorney Michael Cohen's two offices, his residence and his temporary hotel room, represents a steep escalation of the Russia investigation by the Justice Department, one that President Trump has taken as a personal affront and left uncertain what he plans to do next.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Asked again whether President Trump had any thoughts or intentions about firing Robert Mueller, for the first time today, the press secretary did not issue a denial.
You've said several times from the podium that the president has neither the intention nor is thinking about firing Robert Mueller. Does that remain the case today?
The president was asked this question directly last night, and I'd refer you back to his comments.
What the president said last night was sharply different than what he has said in the past, when he has insisted he was not going to fire Mueller.
Why don't I just fire Mueller? Well, I think it's a disgrace what's going on. We'll see what happens.
Sources close to the president say they don't believe he'll fire Mueller. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley today said it would be a terrible idea.
It would be suicide for the president to want to talk about firing Mueller.
But in the event President Trump wanted to fire Mueller, the White House made it clear.
He has the power to do so, but I don't have any further announcements.
No question, the president is livid about the FBI raids on his personal attorney, Michael Cohen. Sources say the FBI took everything in Cohen's possession, including privileged documents and communications, computers and cell phones. President Trump warned last year that Robert Mueller's investigation should not stray outside its mandate.
It's an attack on our country in a true sense. It's an attack on what we all stand for.
To hear the press secretary tell it, President Trump now believes Mueller has crossed a line.
The president has been clear that he thinks that this has gone too far.
The Senate Minority Leader heaped criticism on the president's complaints today, insisting the raid was signed off on by a number of officials who President Trump appointed.
If President Trump believes this to be a partisan conspiracy, he once again ignores the fact that every major player is a Republican.
It's still unclear what the FBI was looking for. Bank fraud regarding the payment to Stormy Daniels has been suggested. Sources tell Fox News Cohen paid Daniels from an existing home equity line of credit and that he didn't need to tell the bank what the money was for. The $130,000 was then transferred to an LLC solely owned by Cohen and from there wired to an attorney in Beverly Hills. President Trump denies any knowledge of the transaction.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
President Trump is also weighing options to respond to the suspected chemical attack in Syria, huddling last night with his national security team, talking with French President Emmanuel Macron and British Prime Minister Theresa May. The president today canceled his weekend trip to Peru and Colombia, indicating a response could come toward the end of the week.
We're going to continue to work with a number of our partners and allies as we determine what the next best steps are.
Defense Secretary James Mattis also canceled weekend plans to travel to Nevada and San Francisco in order to be ready at a moment's notice to respond to the president's call. We also have heard that while the United States and its allies are still working to confirm whether, in fact, chemical weapons were used in the attack, the White House remains confident that they were. The press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, again saying today that the White House is fully confident with what it has said so far on the matter. Brett?
John Roberts live in the North Lawn. John, thank you.